I want to talk about Drew and Punk. I said that Monday last week was a problem because they didn't kill each other, and I don't care that they were going to have a match. I know there was no touch rule, but when they both said, Drew's like, I'm not going to stop until your heart stops beating, and Punk's saying, the level of violence I'm going to bring out is something you've never seen before. And then, they say all these things in the press conference and whatever the hell they call it now, the kickoff. They're on the same stage, and Seth looks ridiculous again, and they're just talking. And it's like, wait, now they don't want to kill each other? Now they're going to listen? And then Punk does this, silly thing at the end where he's like, I get another paycheck if I send this off the air. And it's like, dude, aren't you trying to sell a big heated angle here? And then Seth comes out, and once again, over the top, probably to the point of distraction, probably to the point, not probably, he was far too much of the focal point of that match. And Punk and Drew do not get into the level of violence that they needed to get into. Seth said it on Monday. I'm doing this because no other ref will do it. No other ref wants to get in the middle of this. Nobody else wants to get beat up. I agree with that sentiment. And he goes, well, maybe I'll count, and maybe I won't count. To me, if you're going to do the first one as a singles, which was not easy to do after 7 months of build, you needed to have someone out there like Seth who was going to let them do whatever they wanted. He was only going to be there to count the 3. And instead, it became no, hold on. You're doing a 5 count in the corner. Let me get you out of there because too many kicks on a guy down in the corner. We can't have that. And he kept throwing guys off. And then, there should have been everything in that match. They should have not been able to keep those two guys apart. And yeah, they exploded at the bell, but then that was it. They did the punch spot at the beginning. And I was like, cool. That's how you start this match. And then we got Seth pulling guys off for a 5 count in the corner. Why would they give a shit about a DQ? The level of violence I'm going to bring has never been seen before, CM Punk. I'm not going to stop until your heart stops. Drew McIntyre. No, hold on. It's a 5 count. Let me get him out of there. Seth should have been there to oversee it. And instead, he became way too much of a focal point. And I said, I like that they reintegrated him because you know what? He was pissed at Punk, and they were going to have a world title match at WrestleMania. And I know SummerSlam was an angle-heavy show. I understand that. I knew this was only the first of multiple matches between all 3 of these guys. No problem with that. They teased the Bret, Shawn, Taker finish from 97. Hell, they all dress like those guys in some way, shape, or form. Sure, I get it. But Taker and Bret didn't have that level of animosity heading into their match in 97 that these two guys had. That animosity came as a result of the end of the match when Shawn went to hit Bret and hit Taker and missed, and Bret won, and Shawn had to count, and then spit, and we get the pull apart at Ground Zero and in your house, and we get Bad Blood out of that, and we get Survivor Series. Then it turned up. This was already turned up. So the only real comparison was, let's put somebody in the middle that doesn't like either two guys. But that was about the WWF Championship. This is about two guys that absolutely hate each other. And they didn't fight like that. And now in hindsight, it looks like Seth being added to the mix has taken away. And you could have easily gotten more out of Drew winning. Same thing. Same thing. Seth somehow cost one of them. They're even more pissed off at him. Their focus goes back onto him. Punk taking his eye off the ball because of a bracelet, which was there the whole time. It was there the entire time. You put your bracelet on his wrist. Punk's mad at Seth because he put the bracelet on his wrist because it hit the mat like that. How did a bracelet become the focal point? How did, you want to say, Punk was his own worst enemy, the story of his life, the story of his career. Okay, sure. As a finish, fine. But you could have done Drew winning with Punk making a mistake, fine. But there needed to be way more hatred and violence in between. It didn't hit the level it needed to hit. I wasn't expecting it to be a blow-off. It was the first of multiple matches. That's fine. But you needed way more juice in between all that. And I'm not talking about blood, but blood would have helped too. It needed to be more angry. It needed to be less of a match. They should have fought everywhere. And I don't care that you had bloodline rules later. It would have been different. Zach said the bracelet's the real world championship. You know what? It felt like that. Drew just needs to spray paint an X on it tonight. They needed more heat. Vince, I'm with. It just needed more heat. What am I regurgitating? These are my own opinions. I said this last night. I've said it every single day coming into this match. What did the bracelet symbolize? It was on his wrist the whole time. If he was that angry about it, he should have went after it in the first 5 minutes of the match. At the end, it distracts him. Then it comes into play. Those two guys should have torn each other apart. They didn't. That's a miss. And a lot of people, besides me, have that opinion. Because it makes sense. Here's my question. Did that match leave you wanting more in a good way or a bad way? Because some people are now saying, well, Seth shouldn't have been involved. That's a negative. What you should have come out of that match was, well, now I hope we get CM Punk and Seth. And Drew can gloat about it. And Punk will come back around to Drew probably in October. There is time for this to be fixed. They've had a bad week and a half of an otherwise fantastic 7 months, 8 months.